Man,
So that's
you do a lot. Like, talk about stress, efficient exercise, the ARX Fit,
yep.
the Paleo FX. God, you just have a lot of things
Yep.
going on. Man, let's talk about Paleo FX. You've been doing it 4 years. What was the overall vision and what has it become?
So, I've told this story a couple times. So Michelle and I don't know if your listeners know about the Ancestral Health Symposium. So the Ancestral Health Symposium is the very, very academic side of what we do in the paleo community. So this is where the scientific papers are presented. This is an academic conference, where ours is more for the layperson, where the rubber meets the road. My wife, Michelle, and I went to the inaugural AHS, which was in Los Angeles, 2011, I believe it was.
And who puts on the Ancestral Health Symposium?
So it's a 501c, and it is a committee, an academic committee that actually puts us on. Ancestral Health Society is actually who puts it on.
Okay.
So Michelle and I went to this conference. It was a fantastic conference. It was very, very academic. Yes, it was very deep. A lot of knowledge put out. Long story short, we had a fantastic time at this conference, and we were getting ready to head back to Austin. And we're sitting on the tarmac at LAX, and we're just kind of debriefing a little bit and talking about what an awesome conference it was, but that, like, for me, none of my clients would have gotten anything out, and nothing. It would have been so far over their heads, they would have been lost, right? So we were talking about that, and we're like, yeah, it would be really, really cool to, like, take that knowledge and dumb it down to the point to where the common guy could get it. So, I get questions like, what do I eat for breakfast? What's a good source of carbohydrates? It sounds like you're really down on carbohydrates. Well, what's a good source of carbohydrates then? Questions like that people need. And these are intelligent people. I mean, they're, entrepreneurs, doctors, attorneys, the type people I train. They just don't have time to dig into the minutia that I do. They expect me to do that. That's why they pay me. So anyway, that's where the whole idea of Paleo FX started. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's get together a couple people, and we were actually going to have the first one at an efficient exercise studio, which is, to me, now that is just completely freaking laughable. How small we intended to start, and now this year we will have the entire Palmer Center in Austin. I don't know if any of your listeners have been to the Palmer Center. It's immense. It is huge, and we're able to fill that entire venue for 3 days.
And let's put things in perspective too, because when Paleo FX first came around, I remember you guys were talking about it, and I heard about it, obviously interested in it, and I know you, so I'm like, this could be interesting. But at the time, Rob Wolf's podcast, huge, yep. Right? Huge. And still is, yep. Mark Sisson, Mark Daly's Apple, or Mark's yep. Daily Apple, tremendously popular blog. And now there's so many different paleo things and whatnot. But, I remember, Mark was basically like, hey, or no, not Mark, Rob was like, hey, I'm going to be at this conference. And I was listening to the podcast and I was like, oh my God, wow. And it just started moving and happening and God, man, just built and built and built. And now it's this huge event where literally it's the standard, like all the paleo guys come and talk. Everybody
that has anything to do with paleo will be there. All the big names. And and I should say too, that it's not just a diet conference. And
totally.
We have a huge S&C floor. We have everybody from Olympic lifters coming out, Dutch Lowy, Eva Twardokins, people who are on the fringes of the diet, or who might not even, they just eat a real food diet and they don't worry about it. Paleo is not their thing, but they're super into the strength and conditioning. We bring those people in. Panels on shamanism and psychedelics. I mean, that's part of the human experience, and we want to dig into that. So Is it about diet? Yes, but it's about the whole human experience.
Well, I want to talk about this because I think it's moving in this direction. I remember last year, man, I forget the guy's name, the guy who wrote Sex at Dawn.
Chris Ryan.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to